right, well, hey guys, what is up? You saw a little clip of me making some coffee. That is my go juice to get some stuff done today. It is my day off, and I'm doing a little bit around the house now that I'm back feeling normal and not feeling cruddy and sick anymore. I feel like I've got like a lot to do, so doing a lot of cleaning. But in the meantime, I'm also going to do a little mini meal prep, which I'm going to share with you guys. So I decided this morning to dive into my deep freezer and kind of shop my freezer a little bit, because when I got some groceries about a week ago and I had a couple things to put in there, it was full. I just have a regular chest freezer, but it's not just my stuff, not just like meat. My kids at one point acquired an entire case of Tyson chicken nuggets, so obviously not low carb, but there are 17 2-pound bags of chicken nuggets in my freezer. So, I mean, we have apocalypse food, I guess, but yeah. So trying to like dig through all of these bags of chicken nuggets to get to real food has been a journey. But I was able to find some ground chuck. I was able to find a bag of some chicken breasts, and then also some of the Adels. I don't know if that's how you say it, or Adels. You'll see it in a little bit. Some of the Cajun andouille sausage. So that is like one of Richard's favorite things, so I've got that pulled out to make a couple of things too. But in the meantime, I ran up to the grocery store because I started straightening up my kitchen and realized that I am completely out of paper towels. So all of the cleaning that I have to do today and all the cooking that I have to do today ain't gonna happen without some paper towels, just saying. So I'm running in there to get that, and I might need to get a couple of ingredients. I'm going to check and see if there are any yellow stickered packets of meat also that I might be able to jump on for today's meal prep. So I'm going to do that, and I'll let y'all know what I end up getting and what we end up cooking for today. I'm not doing a huge meal prep only because today is Thursday, and I usually do a larger prep on Sunday. So I'm just going to do a couple of items now, and then I'll do a little bit more later in the weekend. But yeah, let's do a little bit of a meal prep video and see what we can knock out. And I'm going to get out of the truck and look at my pants. Anybody else walk around with pimple glitter? Yeah, just me? Okay. Okay, I only got one thing. For me, so I got my paper towels that I needed. I got Richard something naughty because he desperately wanted a frozen pizza. But he's been off the wagon for a while, so whatever. I also got my son a yellow Red Bull because that's his favorite, and he's outside in the heat working on his car, and I thought it would cheer him up. The only thing I got was a 30-count pack of eggs. Which today was $4.29. I think I'm down to like 8 or 9 eggs in my kitchen right now, so this is going to be good for doing something today. I think I might use those to make like some egg loaf muffins or something. I really like to make those. They're excellent warm, and you can use them if you make them sweet, like even with a little bit of sugar-free maple syrup or whipped cream or something like that. I like to just make mine and very slightly sweeten them with Jordan Skinny syrup. And then I like to refrigerate them, and I eat them cold because then they almost are like a little cheesecakey. So I'm going to make some of those to keep kind of on hand for the course of the weekend. But just to show you the ones that I pick up, these are pretty much the only eggs that I buy. I will show you real quick. It's just this big 30-count pack of eggs. I buy the large eggs. At the height of egg prices, I think these got to like $7.99 or $8.29 or something like that, but they're back down to $4.29 for 30 eggs, so you kind of can't beat it. So this is typically what I keep in my fridge, and I normally will go through one of these a week at least. So that's all I picked up for me, other than paper towels and the junk. So there we go. First up, sweet egg loaf muffins. This is a traditional egg loaf, so I'm just using a silicone pan. Those are each a jumbo sized muffin. We are doing 6 large eggs, 4 ounces of cream cheese softened, and 4 tablespoons of butter softened. I like to use the Ninja to mix this, but you can use a hand mixer too. Optional, you can add some flavoring or sweetener. I like to use the Skinny Syrups brand. So I am just combining everything into the blender. I have my 6 large eggs, and I'm only doing just the 4 pumps of the Skinny Syrup, so that's about 2 tablespoons. Add in my butter, and of course the butter and the cream cheese have got to be softened or it just will not blend correctly. Some people do more where it's equal numbers of ounces of cream cheese and tablespoons of butter and eggs to make theirs. I like mine with a little heavier on the egg, just as far as texture goes. So just put this in the blender, threw it on medium speed until everything was really well incorporated. And even though silicone is nonstick, I still always kind of give it a little spritz. And then just equally divide that batter between all 6. So essentially you're getting 1 egg with each muffin. Optional as well, some cinnamon or even like the pumpkin spice seasoning. Tastes amazing on these if you're doing kind of a sweet version. So did a little sprinkle. We're throwing this in a 350 degree preheated oven. I do have it on a pan just to keep that mold flat. First of all, roll tide. And I'm going to do this at 350 for 22 minutes, and they come out absolutely perfect every time. They do deflate as they cool, but absolutely perfect. And these taste almost like a kind of very lightly sweetened cheesecake when it's all said and done. There are the macros per muffin for the sweet egg loaf muffins. Okay, next up is a quick Cajun stir fry. I actually got this recipe from Catherine Salome over at Girl Gone Grillin'. I'm just going to use 1 pack of Cajun andouille sausage, 1 bag of pepper and onion blend, and then 1 bag of frozen yellow squash. You can really kind of mix up and use whatever veggies you like, but this is kind of what she did in her first video where she showed it in a what I eat in a day. I'll try and include that in the description as well. But I am just taking these sausages out. I got a bunch of these on sale, so I have like 8 packs in my freezer that I've got to use up. So just slice these kind of thin and set them aside, just because these kind of go in later, but I want to go ahead and have them ready. Since all the frozen veggies are already prepped and ready to go, this is really the only amount of prep that I have to do for this. So just cut up those 4 sausages, and this is going to make 4 servings for this recipe. So in my large pan, I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I usually don't measure, but for the sake of getting accurate macros for you guys, I wanted to measure everything in here. And then I just kind of layered everything from the 2 bags of frozen veggies. And I'm cooking those until they are cooked through and softened. Now in that process I did also, I waited until everything was cooked and all of the liquid cooked off, because as they defrost in there, you do kind of accumulate some liquid. So I cooked them until all of that liquid was gone before adding in the sausage. And at this point I have not seasoned. I have only just cooked these down with the olive oil and then added in the sausage. And what I'm going to do is basically just cook these down until the sausage gets a little bit of color and everything is cooked all the way through before we move on to the next step. So we kind of give it a little bit, and it is all over medium-high heat. So you do have to kind of stay close, but it's not a recipe that you really have to babysit. So next I'm going to add 2 ounces of softened cream cheese. In Catherine's recipe, she actually used the little Laughing Cow wedges, which I think are a little bit, lower fat, lower calorie altogether. But I have like 6 blocks of cream cheese on hand, so this was just a way of kind of incorporating that, making this a little bit more of kind of a rich sort of dish. Add a little bit of Cajun seasoning and a little bit of onion powder to this as well. And I just keep mixing until all of that cream cheese is well melted and incorporated in there, and get it all mixed together. So it almost made like a kind of creamy consistency to it. It turned out really, really great. And so I just kind of set it aside, took it off the heat until it cooled a little bit so I could pack it up into 4 individual containers. And again, we've got the macros, and this is per container what that one comes down to. Last on the list today is the little mini cheesy beef casseroles. For this, I'm using that same little heart-shaped silicone pan. I've already kind of spritzed that with some cooking spray as well. Use the spray or whatever of your choice. We're going to need 1 pound of unseasoned browned ground beef or ground meat of your choice. To that, I'm going to add the last 2 ounces of my block of cream cheese. And I'm going to work that in and kind of get it incorporated in with the ground beef. So at this point, again, no seasonings to the ground beef. I'm going to add these here after everything is incorporated. I just kind of want to make sure that all of the flavors are consistently through there. So I'm adding a little bit of garlic salt. We're going to do some like coarse ground black pepper. And then I'm also adding a little bit of onion powder to this. I'm out of garlic powder. Normally I would add that as well, but I don't have any on hand. So I got a little bit heavier handed with the onion powder than I normally would. But everything, I ended up actually having these for dinner yesterday and they're so good. So this is just one of those meals that's a knockout as far as like a comfort food. So once we get everything all incorporated in there, I'm going to go ahead and add in a bag of riced cauliflower. I have cooked this and drained it really, really well. And this is just one of the little like 10 ounce or 12 ounce bags of cauliflower rice. You could also do like say some chopped broccoli or something like that if you wanted to make this a little bit heavier on the veggies or give it a little bit more color. But all of the casseroles that my mom would make growing up, it was always like beef and rice or chicken and rice, and so replacing that with cauliflower rice kind of gives me that same like homey, really comfort food style thing. So now this is 1 cup of cheddar, and I added 1/2 of that cup. It's just a shredded sharp cheddar. Added 1/2 of that cup into the mixture. And I'm just getting that really well incorporated in there. And then we're going to reserve that other 1/2 cup of cheddar to use to sprinkle on top once everything is all completely mixed together and really well incorporated. And I also have, this is 1 egg and 2 tablespoons of 1/2 and 1/2 mixed really well together. And I'm going to add that to kind of act as a binder to make this mixture a little bit wetter before I put it into my little muffin compartments. Otherwise it would be a little too crumbly, so that does kind of help it stick together and hold that form, much like you would do if you were making macaroni and cheese or something like that, where you have like an egg and milk mixture. That's just the 1 egg and a little bit of 1/2 and 1/2, and you see how it kind of helps everything cluster together a little bit better as you're mixing it. That combined with the cheese kind of melting in there over that sort of radiant heat. So basically I'm just going to divide this mixture among the 6 compartments again. So we're going to have 6 servings or at least 6 pieces, and then you can determine how many of those based on your macros, what works best. And I'm just going to kind of press these down so that they, you know, don't have any gaps in there, and that way they become almost like little casserole cakes inside the little heart-shaped mold. So once I get everything completely pressed in there really well and they're all nice and even, which, you know, I have to make them even, I'm going to take that remaining 1/2 cup of sharp cheddar and just distribute that on the tops of each one. Now you can always switch this out for any type of cheese that you prefer. It would be great with mozzarella too, or any kind of, I mean, if you want to make it kind of spicy, use like a pepper jack or something. I'm sure that would be delicious as well. But I have a bunch of sharp cheddar on hand, so I'm just going to take this and throw it in the oven, 350 degrees for 20 minutes. until the cheese is melted and everything is cooked through. And they are absolutely delicious. Simple, per serving, very, very low carb.